Hey everyone, it's Sierra.
And it's Laura. Welcome back to Girl Math.
Yes, welcome back to our podcast, Girl Math. Today we have a topic that we wanted to talk about with each other and see what you guys have to say about the topic. And that topic is how to promote a healthy lifestyle. So we have a lot of thoughts on this, and do you want to open it up or do you want me?
Yeah, I mean, I think for this is such a, it's such a big part of everybody's life. It's just
or it should be, yeah.
Well, yeah, and I think a lot of people pay attention to their health a lot, and then basically some of my experiences have definitely led me to be really passionate about this topic, and then of course just wanting to look hot. Obviously health is going to play into that a lot. Yes. Your health, you can see your habits.
You said it, and all the females think it.
You can see it in your habits.
Absolutely.
Every day that makes you up. So drinking enough water, obviously starting at the basics. Gosh, I can't believe how many people don't eat enough.
Or even, eat enough.
I can't imagine because I'm so food driven.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah. And you do a good job of balancing your meals.
And
with veggies, fruits, protein, and you're always telling me make sure you get enough protein today.
Yeah.
So I think that's something America. I don't know the statistics or anything like that, but I think our country we lack in that department.
Oh yeah, I just truly starting at educating yourself, that's the number one way to become healthier.
When did you,
in my personal opinion,
when did you, well, because the reason I'm asking this next question is because I've noticed that you in particularly know a good deal about health and fitness. I grew up with a dad who is that he sold Herbalife, he worked out all the time, he knew what to put in his body, and kind of, and my grandma also
he
was the same way.
Achieved his goals. Yeah, for sure. I know what you mean by that.
But did you have any influence like that?
Okay, yeah. So, gosh, both of my parents cooked a lot. So we did primarily have the home cooked meals. I remember we weren't even allowed to go to Taco Bell. My parents would be ick.
Oh, really?
Just any fast food that they personally judged, they would be ugh, I don't want to fucking, explosive diarrhea. I'm okay. And I had never been there. So it's just I built these really bad connections with these restaurants, and I was ew, I would never eat there. I kid you not, I didn't start going to Taco Bell until I was 21 years old. And I still go just every once in a while if I need it, because it's actually neighboring my place of work. And so I'll be I
so
just
for convenience
want something. Yeah. But anyway, so I definitely had these built up opinions that were placed upon me about certain fast foods. And then my mom was a health nut. So she would always encourage us to get enough protein, get enough sleep.
Nice.
We have to eat breakfast. We drank our milk with all of our meals. We had a lot of nutrition, just as our foundation. And so I am extremely lucky to have grown up with that,
because a lot of people don't, I don't think.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And then beyond that, the reason why I am so educated about nutrition and stuff is, well, number one, to start out, I think and this may turn into a tangent, but basically I think a lot of young women, especially we kind of know that a lot of young women have these strict expectations placed upon them from a very young age to look a certain way and to fit into that criteria of being skinny enough but healthy, but not too old, not too young, things like that. And so it's that was placed upon me by my mom, as far as her making little comments. Oh, you sure you want to eat that? And talking about our weight, talking about well, you just carry a little bit of extra weight and you need to try this. You need to try to do this in order to be smaller. So she would talk to me and my sister about, kind of along the lines of wanting us to lose weight, wanting us to really watch our weight closely from middle school all the way through high school and stuff. And she had very unhealthy ways of mentioning that to us. And so from a very young age, we definitely had a lot of stress revolving around food, revolving around, your relationship with food. I mean, it's like you just have stress already like instilled from a very young age. And so it's like, then I did find myself in a group of girls growing up in like middle school and high school. My group of friends, we all had like big boobs. We were thicker. Like we all, people who are like each other tend to like band together when it comes to like high school and stuff and like making friends. A lot of my friends, we had like, of course, like some skinny girls, we all look different in our own way, but like we had some like meat on our bones, and we were all very obsessive and all very involved in like discussing this with each other. I remember practicing like, we would go through little spouts of like, oh, I'm not going to eat today. Or did you hear this girl got Adderall and she lost hella weight. She came into school one day, she loses hella weight. And I'm like, I'm getting that. I went to the doctor, got that, lost weight. Like, we did everything we could. Yeah. We were obsessed with it. And then one of my friends, one of my really close friends, got really sick and was anorexic. So like for us to go through that at such a young age, and like she had to go off to treatment, and I like wasn't sure if she was gonna live or die.
Yeah.
I remember like being on the school bus, like thinking about like, I didn't know if she was gonna make it. Like I was literally so worried about it. And so that was the point that I had thought about becoming like a nutritionist, but God, I suck at chemistry and just like school, and so I didn't follow that path. But it's such a powerful thing that like definitely kind of affects me every day in my life. I think about it a lot.
You do.
And I try to give what I can to people around me who like, because it affects everyone. Everyone can be interested in that.
Yeah. Well, and everyone should be interested in that. Yeah. So basically what you're saying and what we're saying is what you put in your body matters so much. So to promote a healthy lifestyle, you need to be aware of, are you doing drugs? Are you drinking every single day? Are you drinking even every single week? Which weekly might not even be bad. It's just the amount, I think, of because you could literally drink whatever. Anyway, so alcohol, are you drinking, in excessive amounts of alcohol?
Yeah. And I think like even people's idea of excess, people's idea of like, calling this and that, like, oh, I'm not doing it a lot.
But like
and
one day it's like
what is a
bender or something like that. Yeah. Obviously it's not doing anything for you. And it doesn't even taste good. So anyways.
Yeah, I love a good drink though.
Mine lately has been gin and Sprite. And I'm kind of thinking.
You like gin?
I do. And I'm thinking about trying gin and juice.
Exciting.
Wouldn't that be good? Gin and pineapple juice or something?
Yeah, gin and orange juice is like a thing.
Oh, gin and orange juice.
Yeah.
I'm like, what kind of juice?
But I mean, you could do it with anything. I mean, pineapple. You could like play around with like peach and mango, like fucking cranberry. It doesn't even matter. Just
I was on a whiskey kick for so many years back in the day, and then this time around this year, I can't do vodka, so I'm like, what else is there? So
I love that you're trying gin because you can get a little Tanqueray, a fancy moment. Yeah. With I don't
moderation.
Really do gin and tonics. They're disgusting, but I love a good press. And for all of you who don't know what press is, first of all, I just love the way it sounds when I go up to the bar and I'm like, vodka press. Like I'm just,
what is
sophisticated bitch. A vodka press is literally half soda water, half Sprite. So instead of me drinking the equivalent of 3 cans of soda in one night, which I never drink soda, and it's like that sticky feeling in your mouth that is like, I'm already dehydrating myself. Let's fucking add an ass load of sugar. So I just like to cut that in half because I'm not somebody who is like, give me a vodka soda. I'm going to have no sugar at all. Like, I'm not doing it. I will have some sugar.
That's interesting that you say that because I also don't drink soda very often. I do have a case of like Dr. Pepper Zero or Coke Zero at my house for me and my son to have dinner with, and I have
when you need it.
Once in a while, yeah.
Yeah, you need it every once in a while.
Yeah.
You need a little bit of like, give me a little German chocolate cake.
But when I went out the other day, and I don't even know, like with you at dinner, or the margaritas were so much sugar. I could just literally going from drinking like just water all the time to sugary ass drinks. Oh, it's hard.
Those margaritas weren't good. They weren't. I would not recommend the margaritas.
I had margaritas last night.
Should I say the name?
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
I'm gonna refrain from throwing a shit load of shade.
You're fine.
Load of what was I gonna say?
Shade.
Thank you. I'm like, it just escaped me as I said it because I totally tripped over my word.
You're fine. And this is a cuss-free. You can cuss. You can
cuss-free zone.
No, you can cuss.
Opposite of that.
Yeah. Cuss.
I think it's healthy to cuss. God.
Just gets the point across.
Sometimes it just, that shit gets your like emotions out. It helps process your emotions. Speaking of health.
Yeah, health. Okay, so just keeping going back to what we're talking about here, and the reason we're here is ways to promote a healthy lifestyle. I just think moderation is the key to everything. So if you're having soda, moderation. Maybe not make it every meal. If you're having a drink, don't fucking go crazy and go on benders. If you're gonna dabble in this or dabble in that, have a little moderation. Don't go crazy. I think tending to your health. Well, then I heard something the other day. I hope I get it right. It said if you tend to your body, then the next comes your mind. If you tend to your mind, then the next comes like your
soul, maybe?
Your soul, yeah.
Okay.
So then you're radiating happiness and joy, and then therefore you're promoting a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, and like I think too with like if you're a person who doesn't really practice or like you have maybe trouble like applying like some of these like very vague like rules to like your life, because it's like sometimes you have habits that are really hard to kick. But like I think also like having an interest in it is just like the first thing that I've started with is to just like let me try to add something of value to my diet and nutrition instead of trying to say like I'm even going to start with like cutting out whether that's sugar or cutting out fast food or like whatever. But it's like when you start to like learn a little bit too about like what is in that, like what is in all this stuff. I mean, it definitely shifts. Your mind will shift to where those things become your habits and you don't even have to think about it.
Well, here's perspective for you. I used to be a smoker. I used to smoke cigarettes.
That's crazy. I forgot about that.
Yeah. And Laura's not a smoker, but I have a handful of family members and just people I know who you can tell smoke. And one day I lost the desire to smoke completely because I saw what the path it was leading is going to give.
Yeah.
And you can't expect to stay young and beautiful and feed your body fast food all the time or not have, healthy proteins and
and never exercise
or smoke all the time. Like it's just kind of like
or missing out on sleep is a big one.
Yeah. Too. I used to go days without
a good
solid 8 hours.
Do you take a multivitamin?
I take probiotic, magnesium, vitamin D.
Do you take magnesium at night or in the morning?
I took it this morning.
Oh my gosh.
Is it what? Well, I only take it for my brain. I heard that it helps for,
So magnesium, there are multiple different like forms that it will come in. So there is a magnesium that is like your plain old, it's an electrolyte. So sodium, magnesium, potassium. And then there's like 2 more. There's 5 essential electrolytes that you have to get in order for your cells to like
replenish.
Well, yeah, like bring the liquid in. So there's a such thing as like you can drink water, but like your cells aren't absorbing it because they don't have the things that they need in order to like make that process like happen.
I get it.
So like magnesium is an electrolyte, and then there are other forms of it. Magnesium glycinate is a form of magnesium that if you take it at night, it calms your nervous system and actually makes you sleepy.
Okay.
And so I've been taking that. And then also just to like top it off, because I'm not like I'm not like having access to the pharmaceuticals super easily. So ZQuil or like NyQuil, if I want to fucking hit
what I would suggest?
Sleep,
Oh my gosh.
NyQuil.
Okay.
So good.
So I started taking, have you heard of valerian roots?
I have heard of that. Yes. So what does that do?
So it's a natural herb, and it's like a really, but it has a concoction of melatonin in it and valerian root and something else.
So it's something that
maybe
calms
even
magnesium.
The body. And it calms. I swear I get the best deep sleep when I take it every night. Like I've had to,
where do you get it from?
Amazon. I've had
you got it from Amazon.
Reorder it plenty of times because it's a natural way to like calm your body down, but it's not like a rushed sleep. It's just like a calm,
Yeah, like it doesn't actually give you this feeling of like, oh my God, I'm on something.
Yes.
Like I'm fucked up. I'm like gonna literally pass out.
Get you ready for bed.
Yeah, that's really nice.
And then you wake up refreshed. Eating a balanced meal like breakfast. I know lately it's been hard for me to like balance my meals,
lately my issue with breakfast lately has been I go to work at 6 a.m. and I manage a scooters, and so I'm going in there and like food is accessible to me, but it's very like convenient food that is pre-prepared and packaged and like I'm sure has 1,000 milligrams of sodium in it and
well, I was just going to say like preservatives.
Right, preservative. I mean, I don't know what's in it.
But anything packaged, you can assume, or, fast food or packaged can assume. I mean, my dad did this like experiment where he bought a hamburger or cheeseburger and let it sit out and see how long it like.
Oh, yeah. People have done experiments on that for like 40 fucking years. And they come back and it looks untouched. It looks fresh.
Oh, my God. No.
And it's like a solidified block of like whatever the fuck they put in it.
Yeah. So a well-balanced meal is like number one. If you tend
getting away from like your processed stuff, I mean, everybody's at different stages.
I think having the interest of, and even, having a healthy lifestyle is where it all begins. If you're not interested,
having the interest,
if you don't see the value in, taking care of your mind, body, and soul, then you're not going to. If you don't think it's important to get off the couch this day.
You know what's something? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're fine.
Something that I, like kind of a personal mantra that I have gone back to time and time again has been, if you care about it, you don't need to worry about it. And what I mean by that is like, I care about having a healthy lifestyle, and therefore like I'm going to put action into that. So if I'm also adding worry on top of that, or if I'm sitting there like, oh, I need to do this, trying to put this pressure on myself, that tends to like completely shift the focus away from what I want to focus on in the first place. Mm-hmm. Because now my mind is in a state of like worry,
panic or fear
that I'm not going to be able to achieve it. I mean, your focus is definitely in the wrong place for you to be. So I guess what I'm trying to say by that is like, people who care about it, like you don't need to worry about it because it tends to like just draw your focus away from like, and it just kind of clouds up your focus.
So kind of like where intention flows, the good energy goes, or something like that. Whatever that saying is. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I think it can be overwhelming for somebody who is trying to be very intentional on having a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like, am I getting enough exercise? Am I eating a well-balanced meal? Am I getting enough sleep?
Am I watching what I eat? Are like educating yourself on all these chemicals that are out there and like also, you're scrolling on TikTok, you're scrolling on Instagram. If your algorithm is just right, you can suffer from information overload, which has happened to me multiple times in the last few weeks. Like recently I've been kind of like, okay, I need to get off my phone. And that's something where
screen time too.
Yeah, like I mean just going like everything you go in the world and it is not a toxin-free world. Like you will deal with things that are distracting, stress-inducing, that actually have chemicals in them that come into your body, things that disrupt your hormones. That it's okay. And it's like something that you kind of have to train yourself to like, I'm going to educate myself about this. And I am also at the same time going to train myself to not be then fearful of it and start overcompensating in ways potentially where you burn yourself out, you're stressed, you're worried. And now you've essentially created another problem where you have sought to solve a problem. And then you've now created a new problem for yourself. So like, I think it's really important to like educate yourself, pay attention to these things,
but put your best foot forward and just do what you can do.
And be kind to yourself, maybe like, and that's kind of what I mean with the whole mantra of like, I care about this, and so I don't need to worry about it. I care about myself, so I'm going to take care of myself. Like,
I could see how like the pressure of like needing to stay active, for instance, like it almost feels like you feel guilty whenever you're unable.
You miss it. Yeah. You miss the gym. You're busy, but it's like, but if you take a step back and look over the past 6 months, how much did I do? And so even though we have like, and even for us in our experience, like we were so disciplined and we honestly proved ourselves to ourselves for the first time, a level of consistency that I think you and I have never even felt before, with like something that wasn't forced.
And, so like, and something that was healthy. I put my energy into something that was healthy. That's what felt so good about it. But basically, like if you're just starting out, or even you fell off a little bit, the main thing to do is get back on the horse.
Yeah, and just be like, okay, today's a new day. Like I'm going to maybe give yourself one focus. That's something else that I do in order to try to reinstate balance in my life, is like, let's focus on one thing today. I love that word. Like I want to get enough protein in. I want to get more protein in for the day.
Yeah, tell us the facts on the protein. You're supposed to get how much for your body weight?
Okay,
Fun fact, everyone, pay attention.
Of course, like I've heard this all around, different sources, and this is going to be some generic information that like I'm not like a scientist on, but like they say getting 1 pound. Well, actually, you know what? I've been listening to Andrew Huberman all week, neuroscientist and like neurobiologist or something like that. And he was literally saying that you should be getting 0.5 to 1 ounce of protein per your body
pounds, right?
Yes, per pound of body weight. Thank you. I'm like, I cannot say this.
Yeah. So I was having a conversation with someone the other day, a man, and he was just blown away at the amount of protein that he is supposed to have.
Yes. To eat. I know, it's crazy thinking about people and men that are like 200 pounds. Yeah. Like that's just their natural weight, or like 250 or whatever, anywhere in there. It's like,
yeah, that's a lot.
Oh my God, how much do you have to eat in a day to sustain yourself?
I was going to say, is that to maintain, or is that to bulk or cut? Or that's just to maintain?
So it's in order to maintain lean muscle mass.
Okay.
Thank you for clarifying that, because I think it's important to like know what your goals are and know like, okay, so if you have kidney function issues, you should not be overloading your body with protein.
Yeah.
You should be leaning towards more vegetables and just making sure that you have a balanced diet. Like not everybody wants to have a whole ton of like protein in their diet, and like maybe that's not aligning with their goals. But that's where it's like there's a range. If you got half of a gram, grams of protein, half a gram of protein per pound of body weight. Gosh, I can do this. I can do it. I know I can.
Keep going, girl. We're listening.
It's like, if you like have your focus set in the right place, that's like attaining towards a goal that works for you, you're going to achieve that goal. You're going to like feel successful. You're going to feel healthy, and your body is going to be healthy. It really depends on like everybody has the place that they're supposed to be at.
I just think that coming up with what goal is for you. Are you trying to cut? Are you trying to gain? Are you trying to maintain? Are you trying to just be healthy? I mean, just knowing what the goal is.
But like starting with one. Like I want to be more healthy and I want to be a little bit more lean. But let me like start, you're either going to start incorporating more vegetables like at very first, and then like a few weeks in when I feel like I've started to get enough vegetables, or it doesn't have to be on like any particular time scale. Like you just do it. Like if you go to the grocery store and you're getting your week's worth of groceries, like do a tiny bit of research, before you go, and just try to figure out like, what does this look like? Like make sure you're looking at nutrition facts, looking at ingredient lists.
That's something I want to get good at, is
understanding what you're looking at.
Well, knowing what I do cook at home.
Yeah.
Pretty much like, I would say 5 days a week.
Yeah, you're doing
breakfast,
great.
lunch, and dinner, unless I am going, to lunch with a client or just whatever the case is. But I don't seek out to go to lunch or dinner by, just one, for saving money, and two, it is a health thing. And so knowing what I'm buying to even make at home, because there's a whole nother level that I could even be researching and understanding. Like, I don't even know what to say, but like meat that's from a local farm or something, like, is that better?
Yeah, I mean, when you start to get into all that, that's where okay, so I'm not gonna lie, when you're crossing over this threshold of like, okay, number one, I'm focusing on getting enough protein. Okay, now I'm trying to focus on eating cleaner.
Yeah, cleaner.
So when it comes to like trying to eat cleaner, that's where like you actually want to educate yourself on marketing gimmicks.
Yeah.
Psychology of the
maybe
food
like
industry.
Getting more fresh vegetables from like this.
Generally speaking, if you go to the grocery store, generally speaking, if you find something that is like no antibiotics, this company is claiming that, and there are laws in place to like keep the integrity there of like what these companies are claiming. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and not stress myself out and overthink it, and I'm just gonna like trust that. Okay, fine. So like even if you're getting like Tyson chicken and
no
you're
artificial
trying, it's frozen and it's a chicken strip, okay. But if you're paying attention to like, okay, it has carbs in it because it has the breading on it, so I'm not gonna overdo it on the sides. I'm gonna have a salad instead of fries, or I'm gonna have a small serving of fries to just keep it under control. But you're making sure you're getting enough protein. You're trying to do a little bit of like research as far as like, okay, this has no antibiotics in it. I mean, once you get a routine down where you are getting enough protein and you're paying attention to those kinds of things, I think that's the point where you can start to like really educate yourself and take yourself further into your habits as far as like, okay, do I want to put more of my time and energy into like cooking, and do I have the budget for it? Like, it's all a matter of like you're shifting energy around. Like when you cook cleaner and you eat cleaner, you then have to put a little bit more energy, time, and or money into your eating habits.
You know what I've noticed though? Cooking at home is so much cheaper.
Oh yeah.
Like I have like, I'm not gonna, never mind. Yeah, so much cheaper.
Yeah, no, I actually did an exercise in my Spanish class in college.
Nice.
My Spanish teacher, he had 4 kids, and they would shop at Aldi's and stuff. Mm-hmm. And he would talk about like, okay, you're going to go to the grocery store, obviously all in Spanish, and you need to like get a week's worth of groceries for like $50. And it's like,
maybe not today, but
I know that like, well, and yeah, this was maybe like 5 years ago. So like, little chunk of time for sure. But generally speaking, like if I was like a single person, I could definitely go to the grocery store and get,
that would be
like
doable.
Obviously if you're starting from having nothing at home, but like most people you're in this constant cycle of like, oh, I have this at home, I'll just grab this and I will make a meal out of some of these supplementary things. Like maybe you have rice in the cabinet, like you don't have to buy rice every time you go to the store. But when you're buying the like simplistic ingredients and not all this like processed food, I think your food can actually go further and you can get a little bit more bang for your buck for sure.
Yeah, I think once you're in the cycle and you like you said, like have this or that at home
so
already,
like again,
whip up whatever,
educating yourself.
My dinner last night was so good. I think I was missing out on the veggie part of it, but gosh, it was so good.
What was it?
I made chicken burritos. And
I think you snapped me it.
And I smothered it in queso.
Yum.
Kingston had 2 of them. And I like, my mom heart gets so happy whenever he's like, Mom, I need more. I'm like, coming right up, babe. Love it.
That is so sweet.
It's like something that makes me feel so good.
You know what used to make me so happy? Like feeding my dog. Yeah. Like just giving him food and just being like,
this is helping you.
Yeah. Like, I just love that feeling. It just feels good. Because
really when he first started eating, food, I was probably 22, 23, so I was not cooking for myself even. So we did a lot of McDonald's. Yeah. And so now I'm just like, I love to care for my son in an elevated way.
I really want to talk about something that I feel like people don't generally know about. And it's that actually the diets of your ancestors and the predisposition of your genetics has a lot to do with your health and like how nutrition like acts in your body. So when you actually like go back and like, I mean, if you're able to spend some time with your grandparents, understanding what their lifestyle was like back in the day.
My grandma
when they were alive.
Yeah, my grandma told me that she would harvest, her family would harvest everything that they ate.
My grandparents had a grocery store, my great grandparents.
Really?
My grandma, my dad's mom, they were kids and her grandparents had a grocery store. My grandma they would like take all the fruits and vegetables that were going out that were like really they weren't going to get sold like most likely, and they were starting to go. They would then make jams and like canned fruits, canned vegetables, things like that. And so like my grandmother, you know, they were just like extremely fortunate to have that kind of like avenue where they were being taught that at such a young age. And they were getting like really good quality stuff. Like, can you imagine like that being your life? Like it was just so interesting to me.
So this was your grandma?
Yeah, my grandma, when she was a kid, her grandparents had the grocery store.
Okay. So then that's probably where your mom learned how to eat nutritious.
Well, that's actually my dad's side. So my dad, interestingly, my dad's mom, it was a baker and like cooked all the time and stuff like that. And then my mom's mom, they would also, so they still owned the house that my mom grew up in. And actually both sides of my grandparents own the houses that my parents each grew up in.
Okay.
So like I saw the environment that my parents both grew up in from babies. Like I know like their houses, I've been to their houses a million times.
Yeah, they still have them.
So yes, we had to sell my dad's parents' house because their health has declined more quickly than like my mom's side. But my mom's grandmother had a whole garden, would like can green beans, would like buy a whole goat leg, like crazy shit. But they also lived out in the like boondocks, and I'm pretty sure they ate like squirrel one time. I grew up with my mom telling me that I was half hillbilly.
That's really funny.
And it's kind of true.
You know, like 64th Street and I-29?
Yeah.
My grandma lived there.
Okay.
And my grandma was so country that she had chickens in the backyard. Oh,
that is so cute.
And I don't even think that it was like allowed. I'm sure there was like an HOA. I don't know.
Well, maybe, but not back in her day.
Maybe not. But I just thought like knowing like that area now and just like knowing that she had chickens, like I don't think that would fly now. Interesting. Yeah. But my grandma did always like till her own garden and like, you know, do the whole green bean stuff. I think that should be a goal. When I get my own place. Like
I've definitely seen a lot of people starting to like gear their focus towards that. Like I've seen a huge movement on social media with people talking about this, because it's like, if you don't buy from the grocery stores, or if you don't buy a certain product from the grocery store, they're going to stop producing it. It would have to be like over time where like a massive amount of people catch on to that and start like doing that. But like,
let's just talk about like each person and like what we can do. So I want to break it down for somebody who's listening and maybe get their opinions. But I also want to, before I like break it down and us recap what we've talked about, I want to just jump into one more topic, and that is mental health. I know that in addition to being healthy, you also are very intentional on allowing yourself mental health days, putting things in place to like have a good mental health. So what are things that we can do? Therapy, journaling, exercising.
I mean, number one, I definitely noticed when we stopped going to the gym after a little while, the amount of stress that I was dealing with, and just like generally how my lifestyle is. Like, you know, I do go out and drink on the weekends, and then I recover on Monday and Tuesday, and then I'm good again by the end of the week. And like, I kind of go through that cycle, which I've tried to get away from a little bit more, just because like it does, even though it took a long time for it to even start to affect my physical health. But then I started to notice that it was affecting like my mental health, and just like when you're like not focused. So just like for me, step one was just like to reel it back in and just really like slow down. And yeah, like something that gives me a lot of confidence is like educating myself. So like, you know, if I want to get back into like really giving my focus to myself and my mind and my confidence and my inner strength, I actually started by reading.
Oh, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm. So like reading something so that I have something that I know that I can, and I was reading, it's called The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John C. Maxwell. My boss bought this book for me, and I have only gotten to chapter 10, which like they're all laws are broken down into the chapters. So I'm on law 10. And you know, like, of course, life gets crazy and busy and you don't like necessarily want to pick up your book all the time. There's also an app I use called Headway where they actually summarize books. And so like I would use that sometimes where like
are you into the more self-help books, or do you, because me personally, I do love a good self-help, but my attention gets, you know, lost.
Okay.
I really love a good just mystery or a good love story.
Okay.
I can get behind those. So if anyone has any book suggestions,
leave them in the comments.
Yeah, leave them in the comments, and don't everyone talk at once.
Right.
But
no, everybody talk at once.
That's a good point. I was just listening to a podcast the other day, and the woman said, learn something new. Be teachable.
Learn.
So pick up a
book. Be coachable. That's definitely one thing that like has helped me like propel into like having a successful career and just continuing feeling successful is like be coachable even when you make that mistake or that thing happens. Be transparent with people and be like have humility. Like be vulnerable.
Nobody likes to know it all, and also it doesn't scream secure, like stable person whenever someone is like, you know, a know-it-all.
Yeah, they can't admit when they were wrong or whatever. But yeah, so that was like definitely something that like I just started like, let me like slow down and like give myself, like feed myself.
Yeah.
The second thing I did.
I can't wait to give you your birthday present. It's going to go in, it's going to tie into this, and I'm sure you've seen it. I know.
Excited. This kind of like leads into my next point. And like, since my birthday is coming up, this really makes me take a step back and look like at my support system.
Yeah. Do you feel
what
good?
Do you have in place? Who do you have in place, or who don't you have in place?
I think this is a big one. To promote a healthy lifestyle, you have to watch the company you keep and make sure you're like getting, I don't want to say getting something out of the friendship, but getting something out of it that's feeding to, you know, a healthy lifestyle.
It has to be giving to you as well. Like it's not selfish to be given to.
And it's not, I'm not talking like money or tangible things. We're just talking like
feeding your soul, supporting one another. Like
it's so important. Oh my gosh.
Making sure that also like when you need like that, like reassurance,
or even just someone to like spell something out for me. It's really important that someone gives a, you know, not hurtful opinion, but just something that's like giving what reality is. And
I think sometimes even just like, I get that like some people don't want to answer the phone all the time, but like make sure you do get back to people and like answer the phone sometimes. You know what I mean? Like make sure that relationship isn't being neglected unless it feels like a chore. You need to reevaluate whether that person is somebody that you can like, you either don't have, your needs aren't aligned. Or maybe you really just don't like that person and you kind of feel guilty.
Or the way that they support or the way that they support you isn't the way that you need to be supported. So then therefore, you know, just draw up some boundaries and
hope that things move along in the right like direction. I mean, I think like, so also another thing with support system is like some people don't have a support system, and you need to be real about whether you have a support system or not. So like, for example, if you have somebody that like, oh, well, they're there for me and they answer the phone every time, but like they tend to be like a negative person, or like it feels like this jagged,
backhanded
energy
stuff,
like just sometimes it like really takes away from you more than you realize it, more than you want to admit. So it's like having that kind of stuff. It's like that can really take away from you. And so like taking a step back and realizing like, how are people affecting your energy? So then going along with that, when you realize what kind of support system you have and what it's giving you, because like for me, the kinds of things that I'm trying to deal with and face right now, I cannot ask my friends to give me what I need in order to get me through that. So like I am going to a therapist.
Yeah. So not overloading your support system with things that they're not either equipped with, or don't have the time to do. I mean, there's also a balance, that comes with
respecting each other's time and energy. Like I can't ask that of you. Sometimes like you're dealing with stuff. You have a busy schedule. You have a child that relies on you. Like,
well, just know that I'm always here. And if you ever do need me, I'm always here.
Oh yeah. And I know that. And we do have like a supportive and healthy friendship.
Yeah.
I'm finding myself in a place where I am putting up boundaries a lot more often, like with people. So like each interaction that I go through, just trying to like put up boundaries. So anytime I realize something, and even putting boundaries up with myself too,
like what you are allowing yourself to give time
if I hurt myself, or if I hurt somebody else, I need to look at what I'm doing that's causing that, and I'm willing to do that. You know what I mean? And so
take
it's
a deeper look.
Yeah. So just taking a step back and looking at that. But yeah, like I think that when it comes to like just wrapping this up into like what we've talked about, like with health and nutrition, and then like just going into like balance, healthy lifestyle, and just really having that like securedness in, your lifestyle and like the direction that you're going in, because everybody wants to feel secure and like they're going the right direction.
Yeah.
So like focusing on, the nutrition and trying to go like one step at a time, and just really starting out with educating yourself. And then, evolving that relationship with like food, and revolving that relationship, or evolving
to exercise
with your lifestyle and what works for you, and like giving that more attention.
Yeah, definitely start with your, what did I say? Was it physical first?
Yeah,
I really wish I would have
physical, mental, soul. I mean, everything like aligns, even getting into like, you can get into like spiritual stuff. I mean,
yeah. I think that we could even caveat onto all of this and say like meditation, traveling.
Everything is energy. Everything is an energy transfer. Like, so it's
having a good balance in your life. Moderation is the key to everything. If you
get enough sleep.
Yeah, get enough sleep. Be aware of what you're putting in your body. Have fun, socialize, be around your support system.
Don't be too hard on yourself.
Give yourself grace. But whenever you need to hold yourself accountable, hold yourself accountable. Don't give yourself excuses to continue on the benders. Don't give yourself excuses to like, participate in things that truly aren't serving your highest good or your future. I've enjoyed this conversation today.
Yes, this was great.
Yeah, next episode we should talk about traits that make a woman ladylike.
Yes, and just feeling strong in your feminine energy. Focusing on that.
I think that's something we could really talk about. So
I would love that.
Be prepared for that next week. This episode will be posted
sometime next week. We don't know.
I love how you interrupted me because
we're not putting a deadline on it because we have crazy lives.
I love that so much.
And you will respect it.
Yes.
By God.
But it will be posted by Sunday next week. All right. Well, don't forget forget to like, share, subscribe, and
tell your friends.
Tell some people, comment on these, give us your feedback, and just overall participate, and let's get girl math.
Hopefully we give you guys some inspiration on some of these things that we're talking about, because we're really just hoping to be relatable. I
think that we just want to be a love and light to people, and let's grow our girl math platforms, community, and get some more followers. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. We'll talk to you next week.
Peace out. Bye.